Dear twin flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is an episode number 61. In today's episode, we are going to talk about one question that bothers us all when it comes to the twin flame journey. And then we are also going to have a guest post. As you know, you can share your story with me, and I will read this on my podcast to discover and see your journey. If you're wondering why you should listen a story from others, it's because sometimes you will find some answers in a story of others, and you'll not feel so lonely on this journey. Because as we know, this journey can get very lonely at some times. I'd like to start today's podcast with words from Rumi. The wound is the place where the light enters you. And why I'm starting with the words like this is because when we come to this twin flame journey, we have no idea that there's going to be the separation, the pain, the longing, the feelings like it's never going to end. When this person or this idea will go out of me, when will it stop? And the more we're going to fight against it, the more we are going to suffer. And in today's episode is one of the first questions I know that we all have. I think it's the question that many of us are in this journey, that 99% of the time we would like to know. And it's the question, did my twin flame or that person I met felt the same way like I did? Because this pain is killing me. And now I am here all by myself, trying to figure out, crying like I never cried in my life before, feeling the feelings I never felt before, and just it feels so painful. So did my twin flame actually feel the same way, or why did my twin flame run away if he felt or she felt the same way? So I'm going to answer in certain ways, and I'm going to bring in a bit of my personal story as well, which hit me another day quite hard, not in a negative way hard, but made me to realize that I've always given my side of the story, but I've never given you my twin side of the story. And as many of you know my story very well already, at least those of you who have listened my podcast episodes, when I met, how I met, what is my life situation, and so on. And obviously, because I know what happened inside of me, or in a sense, I also know what happens inside of my twin today, but I haven't really taken a side of that, just because I feel like this is not my job to explain what he is going through and how he is handling the situation. But today I'm going to discover that a little bit. And when the time is right, I will let him to express his part of this at one point. Anyways, did your twin flame feel the same feelings that you feel, and why did they run away? Number one thing is why they run away, because that's somehow a sign of it that you are on a twin flame journey. Separation is a big part of the journey. That's why I started with the words that the wounds, in a sense, is where the light can come in. Your heart has to be broken. You have to feel broken in order to let the new light to come in, or in order for you to become the light. And it feels like a heartbreak. I totally get it. Although it is way more, this journey is way more than a heartbreak. It helps you to become your higher self, the one you always been, but somehow with life you have walked away from your soul to be you. Now if you question if your twin flame feels the same way like you did when you first met, because this is the question that bothers all of us, is like, we had that electricity, we had such a good time together, we were so aligned, we could talk about deep feelings, we could talk about spirituality, we just know each other, there was no time and space. And then all of a sudden the relationship fell apart out of nowhere, and it was so difficult to get back on track. It was like all of a sudden someone cut the wire and there's no more communication. I'm going to tell you that yes, your twin flame, if we're talking of a true twin flame felt the same energy, felt the same things, had the same experience like you. But of course, as you know, it is very scary. It's one of the scariest energies we come across, because all of a sudden you feel something you never felt before, and it's going to shake your life. It is going to shake off who you are, and it's not an easy thing to do. If we're talking of the true twin flames, they feel that energy at the same time with you. Do they know how to translate this energy, and do they understand? That's a very different topic. But they felt something they cannot explain. And also I'm going to say that a runner and chaser dynamics can change, which means in the beginning you might have been a runner, and then later you are the chaser, and other way around. I have made a deep meditation on my Patreon where you can hear what your twin flame is actually feeling about you, what your twin flame even felt when you first met, because the answers you have are all within with you. You have all the answers. It's just the mind that comes in between and tries to tell you, no, they run away because they don't care about you. And yes, if you have not come across with a true twin flame, let's say it is a person you met, maybe a karmic, maybe soulmate, very unlikely, because soulmates normally tend to stand around and it's very harmonious with them. But when you have come across with a person who just wanted to play around, had nothing really, then you're not on a twin flame journey. That's how simple it is. And we don't have to label everything into that, thinking that, oh, I had this, now it's twin flame, and that's how it is. Twin flame is you. You have met your soul. Your soul split into two, lives in two different bodies, but at the same time you are already one, you are a union, and you're gonna feel this. So you are not separated from each other, actually. You are in a union, you're together. And when we talk about the true twin flames, you're always connected. So that's why everything what you say, everything what you feel, and what happens inside of you happens inside of your twin as well. So that's why, now comes the part where I'm saying twin flame relationships are very complicated. And why they're complicated is because energetically it's very intense. I had a call last week with two people who are in a union with their twin flame. I have many people I now have worked with who have come to the union with their twin flame, and they are reaching out to me and saying, well, I thought separation is hard, but being together is even more roller coaster. And it's not toxic. I don't want to use the word toxic here. It's not toxic. What it is, its energy is so intense in between two of you that you can create and destroy. Now it depends on which energy you're going to use. At the same time, I bring a very simple example. For example, if you are together with your twin flame and your twin flame is at work and they have a very stressful day. You are at home, let's say you're reading a book, but you feel that stress at the same time. You feel this energy the whole time. So you're wondering, why am I feeling this? Why am I going through that? Well, because you share the same energy. That's why, how I say, when you do the conversations to telepathy, when you feel certain emotions, things inside of you, It happens. But same happens when you're going to be in a relationship. So yes, if you have met your true twin flame, they feel the same energy, they feel the same things. If you want to discover what your twin flame really felt, I have put together a meditation where you go deeply within your soul. It's 10 minutes long. It's on Patreon. You can try to do this exercise and see what kind of messages did you get. As there you have the answers. You have all the answers within. Of course, if you wish to discover, am I on this twin flame journey? What is happening to me? How to balance my energies? You can, of course, always book a call with me or with somebody else you feel resonated and get some clarifications. As this journey can become very lonely and very difficult at sometimes. So just make sure that you're going to help your soul to have a voice that you can hear. Not that your mind, who is constantly trying to manipulate you by saying, no, your twin flame ran away because he's in love with somebody else, or he loves somebody else, he goes back to the old partner, all of that. And that's what I'm going to bring in with my own story. Many of you know, and I'm going to just bring in from my twin flame side of the story. Many of you know why I have chosen to stay in my marriage with my soulmate. I'm gonna say soulmate relationships are much easier than twin flames, because even though soulmates are there to connect in a sense of supporting each other, twin flames is you. Every single fear, every single insecurity, every single achievement, every single energy happens in both of you. So it can get very overwhelming because you often feel the same thing from another person. I'm not saying it's a bad relationship and it's toxic. No, I'm not saying this at all. What I'm saying is it is very intense and you have to be aware of the energy. As you met yourself. So every single shadow side you have, every single fear you have, every single energy what you have inside reflects back from your twin flame, and another way around. So you need to know how to make this work. With soulmate, in that sense, it is easier. But I don't put these two relationships on the or two connections in the same box, because they are not. I cannot put them in the same box. But now coming back to my twin in a sense of what he's been going through, because he knows that I have chosen to be with my soulmate. Is that easier for him? No. Is that makes him to question, do I love him? Of course. Does that triggers an anger, frustration? Of course. Now you would tell me, well, you're the worst person on earth. Why you don't go with your twin flame if you're both feeling the same way? Because it's not a time. It's not a time and a place. It will never, ever work in 3D. And I know that. Today I know because I have all these answers inside of me. And I am happy that I have these answers and I'm connected with my soul. I'm connected so deeply. Is that fair towards my twin flame? Maybe not today. Maybe not. It is not fair. I know he's been going through a very, very hard time. But he's going to have a life with his soulmate, who is going to have a family, children, all of that. And that's beautiful. That is powerful. And there is so much love in there. And I know when we go into the mind and we would say, yeah, but that's cheating and that's this and that's that. I never planned, in the sense of my 3D life, of meeting my twin flame. I never did. And now this happened. I have chosen it. I have chosen to see this connection way above than just a relationship. My twin, on the other hand, no, he has not. And it's not that he's begging me or wants me to be. It's not about that. It has been hard for him in order to understand that I am with somebody else and I'm not coming. But does that mean I don't love my twin flame? No, it does not. These two loves are very different. I don't know how to explain how they're different. I don't have words for it. So now if you think of your twin flame, for example, your twin flame has decided to be in a relationship with somebody else, or they run into another relationship. One thing is they can run into a relationship in order to hope that they're going to forget about you, that they're not going to think about you, like they have a new person, because nowadays to find relationship is just open an app and there you go. Whichever way, if you are a little bit of a good looking, you just can have relationships up and down, here and there. I think within 5 minutes. It's I think simpler than ever been before in our life. But is it deep enough? Is it meaningful enough? I don't know. But not often. Another option can be that your twin flame is exactly married and in love, and you feel like, oh, they're going back to their husband or to their wife and they're never going to come back to me. If you say like this, they're never going to come back to me, they don't care about me, they don't love me, then that's what they're going to hear inside of them. That's why you have to be very careful of the words you're using. Try out my meditation and you will hear your voice, you will hear the soul, what is telling you. And why I'm talking about this another day, that I kept on getting these downloads or these feelings, because you can hear from your twin. I mean, it sounds absolutely crazy, and I'm all about crazy. But I started hearing this. It was like this frustration, anger. I could feel the frustration and anger, and I could sense this is not mine. This is not mine, because my anger is very different. And I can sense and I can feel this like, no, I don't want to hear about you. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to see you. You're never going to come back. It's never going to work out. And there was a lot of this, it's never going to work out. It's never going to work out. And it was going on about 3-4 days, very intense. And then my soul obviously started to feel that, oh, I need to reach out. I need to say something. But the conversation was very direct, very distant, very protective. And then I had a call with a lady, and I said to you that you are my guides as well, because sometimes you tell me information. And she's absolutely fantastic. I love her so much. I'm so glad I have a chance to meet you, beautiful souls. I am so happy. Thank you for trusting me with your stories. Thank you for reaching out to me. Thank you for booking the calls. It really means a lot to me that you are trusting your journey with a stranger you don't know, you have never met before. And you feel that I could help you over here. And also thank you for each one of you who have sent me the message that how much I helped them. Because that's all I want to do. That's all my soul wants to do. And I start crying immediately, of course. Because, like I said, if I can help 10 people to become their higher self, to feel that union, what I am feeling today, just harmonious union within yourself, that you know who you are, that you have the love, that you are merged together. It's so beautiful and it's so powerful. And I wish that all of you will feel that, because it's magical. It will never come from another person, and it will never actually come even from your twin flame, even if you come together. The harmony, the union is within yourself, and that's why you need to merge the energies together within you. It's very different. But when our mind is in power, when our mind tries to create illusions that don't exist, it's hard to stay in the union. It's hard to stay and trust your soul. I would highly recommend to do the meditation I have. It will help you. And so this lady I had a call with, she said to me these words. Another day I had a feeling how difficult it must be your twin flame to know that you are married, that you have a home, that you have kids, that you have all of that. And that was exactly like when she said that. It was this energy that I've been feeling last 3-4 days from my twin that came out as an answer. And I was like, I know. I remember when we had a long time ago a conversation, and he said this connection was way, I can even read that for a second, then it's more, how do I say, in correct with the words. When I was asking, how are you doing? He said, well, listen, nothing really new in my life. But when you left or when you disappeared, it affected me a lot. Well, I was really attached to you. But unfortunately, it was a love that is, oh, it comes in French. It was the love that is impossible. And so can you imagine, the same way that is somehow impossible, and you can hear me, and many of you might think right now, but you have it all. Go right now. No, it's this twin flame journey is not so black and white that when we both have strong feelings towards each other, like in a sense of feeling that we know we are one. My twin obviously doesn't know about the spiritual aspect of it. He doesn't understand exactly why it happened, what it is for, and he has a long way to go from it. That's why when my channeling was done, was told to me, first you help your husband to go through a spiritual awakening, you help your twin to go through spiritual awakening, and you guide others, because you know what it takes to get there. And I do. It's, as you can hear from my voice, it is something that I don't wish to anybody, but at the same time, once you arrive there, you'll be so thankful that twin flame came to your life. And if it happens that you and your twin flame come together on 3D life right now, you have to be ready that it's going to be challenging. It's not toxic, it's going to be challenging, because you can constantly feel the energy, what other twin is feeling. And as soon as you're saying, oh, he doesn't love me, you're feeding the energy into your twin. Oh, should I not love her? Should I not connect with her? What should I do? You have to be very aware of your energies, your connections, your thoughts, your feelings. It is all energy. You hear, that's why on twin flame journey, words don't work out very well, as we need to understand the energy first, what happens energetically. If we master this, I believe you can be in a very harmonious relationship, but you need to master the energy. You need to understand the energy, and it is intense. And it wants to make you feel that you want to run away from each other time to time, because it's so intense. And yes, twin flames need space from each other. You do need space from each other. Even though right now when you are in a separation, you don't want to believe me. And I'm absolutely okay with that. Because you will see, once you are in a 3D union, how it feels. In a 3D, there are no more 3D obstacles on the way, and you are in a union, in a physical union, then you will know what I'm talking, and you will remember these words very well. But it's okay. We don't have to run forward. If you are right now in a separation, work with a separation. Work of connecting with your soul. Become one with your soul. This is so important, to become one with your soul. Let go of the fears. Let go of the insecurities. Let go of the pain. Let go of the false ideas, false illusion that it will never happen. My twin doesn't love me. This has to go out of you. The anger, all of this, allow yourself to let go of it. Because all you do is you're harming yourself, your body, your soul. You have to let go of it. And that's why shadow work, inner child work, energy activation, kundalini activation, breath work, Reiki, meditations, all of them will tremendously help you on this journey. Because at the end of the day, it's not so much for you to be together with your twin flame. I'm going to tell you this, and you will not like that. It's about for you to understand that, oh wow, you feel this, I feel this is really happening. We are one. And once you get to this point, it will change everything. I work with so many people. Once I had the call with this beautiful lady, she told me, when we jumped on the call, because it was exactly 21 days after you have a call with me, because I'll do the energy activation during the call. And it takes about 21 days, some less, some more. I mean, it's not, but it's about 21 days when your soul is gonna really align of who you are, and you're gonna feel. I have never done drugs in my life, so I don't know, but I know that feeling when your soul aligns with you. It's so blissful, it's so peaceful, and all of a sudden you just feel alive. It doesn't mean that you don't want this 3D person. And this is another thing I'm going to say. Yes, it is a spiritual journey, but we are also humans, wanting to be together, sharing moments together, growing things together, doing things together is absolutely fine to want in this life, because you're having a human experience. You just cannot sit at home, meditate 24/7 and think, oh, this is how this life is mine is going to be now. No. You're having a human experience. You get to touch, you get to smell, you get to talk, you get to share, you get to be. Now connect with your soul and see. You're going to attract the most beautiful people in your life. You're going to feel how you're connected with the earth, how you're going to feel this every little thing, like how the birds are swinging or how the rain is raining. It's like you are one. And no longer the mind is there who's constantly trying to tell you, no, you can't do this. No, you're not good enough over there. No, he doesn't love you. No, you'll never find love. No, you're going to be alone. There is no one who's going to love you. Because that's what you're all feeding yourself with. And these are lies. It's not true. I've met so many of you. And when I see your deep heart and the soul, I'm like, it's going to be there. And just, I want to say why I'm saying these things is because once you are with your soul, you can attract your soulmate. You can attract a twin flame back to your life if you're going to have an harmonious life. All of these things can happen, but you have to be aligned with your soul. That's so important. And the mind has to disappear. So I highly recommend to do the meditation that is out on Patreon. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope you got some kind of insights. If you agree or even disagree, write in the comments, because every single piece of information is so important, as I might be seeing it from a very different perspective, and you might have some information that is so helpful. Always write books, songs, movies in the comments to help others to see, oh, that is connecting with me. That is giving information to my soul. Here I can grow. Here I can become me, the soul me, the real one of you. So don't be shy ever to disagree with me. I am here to learn. I'm here to grow. And because I tell you, I've learned from this twin flame journey the things I said in the beginning of the journey when I first entered, where I all could think of is my twin flame. I want to be with my twin flame. This is the best love I ever felt. I never felt to compare this love with anything else, because this is ultimate. I've never experienced something so beautiful, so profound. This is it. This is the best thing that could ever happen to me. It was somehow the best thing that ever happened to me. It was painful, absolutely, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me. When I was going within and I was guided to do sound healing, I was guided to do breath work. I went on a retreat that absolutely changed my life. That's why this year I'm hosting a retreat with an intention to change your life. Those of you who would like to join, I think we have 2 spots available. Book it as soon as you can, and we'll see you in March. I will be talking about the retreat at the end of the podcast. So, yes, my intention is right now to give you that peace I have within me. If I can do this, and you're gonna follow who you become, I tell you, you will feel so at peace, and you'll feel how things are flowing at you. And this is priceless. You feel that you are alive. And this can happen that you're going to be with your twin flame as well. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. So now we're gonna go into a story, because as you know, you can share your story with me, and I think that's going to be a little long one. But if you wish to share your story with me, twinflameawakeningjourney@gmail.com, and I will read one story or two stories once a week on my podcast to get some answers, clarifications, and overall to show you that you are not alone, that things that are happening to you is not only happening to you. So I'm going to read. Hi there, my dear beautiful soul. At first, I want to say thank you for everything you're doing for us. I discovered your podcast recently. Actually, a few months ago. I was following you on Instagram and a little bit longer, always wondering, my God, what kind of podcast is that? And I would like to check it. And then I was saying, I'll do it tomorrow or a day after. I'll do it by the end of the summer. I'm too busy right now. And I didn't do it until I was completely ready, obviously. That was like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, more or less, when I listened to your podcast and cannot remember the episode. So let's start from the beginning. I always want to say, you're not alone. You are guided with the spirit guides, with connections, and so on. When the time is ready, the information is going to find you. People are going to find you to help you to elevate your energy, your connection with you. You are just going to be ready. Don't feel that you're alone. Don't hold yourself in a cramp. When the time is right, like she said right now, I already saw this way before, but it was not the time until the time arrived. And it's the same with twin flames. Your union might not happen today because the time is not yet there. And not the time in a sense of months and weeks and things. It's a time of where the frequencies are in the same level. I can tell you that you can try to trick the universe by, let's say, you know where your twin flame is working, for example. And you will go and stand in front of there and try to, be in a nearby cafe or something to do. I guarantee you, you will not run into your twin flame. It will never happen because you're trying to solve this with the mind. When you go within with your soul, things will fall into place. Okay, let me go on from here. So let's start from the beginning. I have always been a strange kid, too responsible, pretty much traumatized. Always with that kind of feeling that my soul is too old for my body. I used to think of myself as a personal keeper of my mother, my family, and I always wanted to do something important, so my family members could finally be carefree and happy. Somehow they could never make it. It was obvious that they weren't capable to deal with their own problems. So I thought I could. Long story short, I always knew that somehow I'm a very special girl, that I have powers, that someday I will make this world a better place, and that I will be the one who is going to make a change. I truly believed in that. Everybody considered me strange. I was introvert, who couldn't find a friend, who always wanted to spend time all alone at home with my thoughts and dreams. Yeah, I was a dreamer. I used to go to bed very early so I could daydream about some most beautiful things in the world. Happy places like heaven, butterflies, nature, stars, planets, and the magic things. Beautiful and handsome boys, saviors, special talents that I'm going to have someday. And my real dreams, they were prophetic and that scared me the most. I must admit something very strange. I used to be very interested in boys as a very young girl. I think I started before I went to school. Don't get me wrong, I never wanted anything physical or something like that, but I used to dream about the love that is not from this world. I used to dream about that every night, bringing myself to tears and pain, very unusual for anybody at that age. Now I know it was normal. Simply I felt that I am one very old soul, and was always aware that nothing in the way we see it. I always knew there is something more, but I didn't know what. By the way, I am a twin. Another baby couldn't make it while in a yet mom's belly. His or her evolution just stopped at the doctors. At the time, I didn't pay much attention to it. And when I started the sentence, it was 11:44. They noticed another baby at the labor time, not earlier. I think that's the reason I have always used to feel lonely. Even in a situation when many people were around me, I always missed the part of me that died next to me when we were in my mother's belly. Also, for some reasons, I always used to think that I'm going to have twins someday, even though I'm not that into having kids. My life was difficult. No friends, no understanding was coming from my family. They always used to say, "How is it possible that you are that weird? Act normal. You cannot be shy. What's wrong with you? You need to change yourself. The life will smash you eventually." High school was a little bit easier on me, but still. I went to college and moved to another city. By the way, I live in one of the beautiful countries in Southeast Europe. My life has changed a big time. New people, new energy, new me. I started to show my true colors, but was far from the person I am now. My life has been difficult because we were extremely poor, but not that poor as my father was so bad at money matters. Anyway, I survived, obviously, but I felt like my life has all the time been on a survival mode. I didn't have time to do the things like I just wanted to graduate from college and start making money. I was tired of not having the food for a couple of days. I'm sorry, I'm writing about all of this, but that's for a reason, so you could see that my desire to survive was so incredible, because sometimes only God was on my side. I started working, only job thing, not a career. Started my acting classes, started discovering myself, my real self at the age of 27. I was so happy, even though the life was still rough. Met my boyfriend at the age of 28, and we are still together. Now I'm 36. I thought he is the one, was in love with, but there always have been problems. His video game addiction, his parents, my high expectation for a partner, my money problems. Don't get me wrong, he's a good guy, but not good enough for me. I'm just going to add a few remarks over here. When we are longing for someone and we are feeling that there is something happening, we do settle down for a relationship because we feel like we don't want to be alone. But what happens is that we are doing this because we don't want to be alone. But at the same time, we know that we are not the one within ourselves. But of course, when we meet our twin flame, it's going to question a lot about our relationship. It did to me, it did to many of us, so I'm not here to say that you shouldn't feel any of that. It's just, we shouldn't somehow settle for something just because it's okay. When I was 31, my father tragically died. I was devastated. It has changed me overnight, and I was grieving, not accepting the truth. I completely closed my heart for everybody. I really hated people. I didn't want to see anybody. But I kept working as an online English teacher, having a good time with my students, feeling grateful to play my important role in their lives. After a while, the tumor of my finger started growing bigger. I went on a surgery. Luckily, everything went fine. Later, when I started learning about chakras, I found a reason for it. It was my throat and heart chakras were closed for years. The life, non-supportive environment, not expressing myself through my talents, acting, speaking, writing, dancing, not telling the truth about myself to the world caused all of that. It was a relief when I found out that I'm the master of my life, and I would never let anybody messing up with my health anymore. My father died in 2018, and in 2019, 2020, the COVID happened. I just want to say here, and this is something, if you're listening to this podcast, keep in mind. You have to follow what your soul asks you to do. You have to become yourself, your higher self. Even though it can go against the family you live in, the friends, the way they see this, and all of this. Because if you're not doing this, you're going to fall sick, because sickness in your body is telling you it's time for a change. It's time. And it starts by very little things. Eventually, it will become bigger and bigger and bigger. Remember, everything is energy. When you suppress this energy and this energy has nowhere to go, it's going to get stuck in your body and it's going to make you weak. Every fear, every insecurity, not speaking your truth, not being you, is the biggest crime you can do for yourself. Don't do that. Become your higher self today, without hurting, of course, anybody, but become your higher self. I can tell you how much love energy can bring the harmony, even if you have problems with your mother, problems with your husband, problems with some friends. It's gonna change. So do yourself a favor, and in 2024, focus on being the master of your life and become your higher self. So I continue. I stayed at home, writing a book dedicated to my father. It was very easy for me, piece of cake, as I was the one who read hundreds of books by the time, and I knew how to express myself. The feedback was good, and I kept writing other stuff, keeping myself busy, out of the world. It was the best time for me, because you remember, I was an introvert, and not seeing people and having some fresh air in the city with traffic jam, for me was like heaven. I started making some more money, and my boyfriend started too. So we were all right, even though deep down in my soul, I knew he's not the real person for me. At that time, he was completely asleep, while I started my awakening journey. Comparing to the present moment, it was nothing, but still, I felt myself then like I was a completely different person. In June 2021, two friends of mine, we are not so close anymore, and I decided to travel to some neighbor countries and that we always wanted to go. It was magical, interesting, beautiful, challenging. But somehow I felt that everything is for a reason, and for the first time in my life, I felt happy and free. I posted many photos on Instagram, had many new followers, and suddenly I saw one account that I didn't want to block. Even though I'm friendly, I don't easily let people into my life. I carefully choose who I'm going to enter it. Anyway, I was happy, excited, and adventurous, so I didn't have enough time to be online. Maybe 10 days later, I checked some new request and I saw him, the K, so we're gonna K, only a man who looked interesting among all these who didn't. I followed him back, but we didn't write to each other. At that time, I was alright when it comes to my relationship, but I wasn't completely happy. My focus was on myself, so I didn't have a time to think where we are going, but I didn't want to cheat on him. That was never my thing. He's a good guy, but the way behind me, if we talk about ambitious, self-awareness, and all of that stuff. I could say I was happy, but just because I personally made my life looking good. Later, when I returned to my country, I participated in a belly dance competition as a part of a group, and we won it. I was beyond happy, posted some photos, and the guy, liked one of them with song from his country. Later I checked it. By the way, he's coming from the completely different culture than mine, that I always used to find very interesting. He's a Muslim, not a traditional one, I think. I'm Christian, not a traditional one too. I used to have ups and downs with my religion, belief in God, especially when my dad died. I always been spiritual, but I figured it out much later. I just thought I was weird, but all the things I believed turned out to be true. Wow, I'm living my dream life right now because of that. Anyway, Kay was one who reached out to first, commenting on my photo. It was July 21st, 2021, when we started communicating for the first time. You can see the July 21st, 2020, it's like 222 and one portal, so it means your soul is recognizing each other. I replied not having a desire to write many notes. I just wanted to be polite. He used to write from me time to time, but he was very nice and didn't insist on making it a thing. We wrote a few messages on Instagram when I thought, oh my god, I don't even remember how he looks like. I totally forgot. Let me check it again. And then the thunder happened. I felt something. Some king of strange feelings ran through my body when I realized, oh, he's like a dream. He's the man I have always dreamt about. Black eyes, beard, tall, cool, smart, with a beautiful smile that just touched my soul at that very moment. I started dreaming about him. He told me that I am beautiful, that he felt how something strange brought him to my account, but he didn't know how that happened. We were writing to each other about a month. He told me that his body is shaking when he's thinking of me, which was unusual to hear from somebody looking so good that I felt, oh my God, he can have anybody. Why me? I know I am beautiful, sexy, interesting, and all of that, but I think that I'm a pretty normal girl, nothing special that he cannot find there. He told me that girls in his country don't fit him, whatever that means. I never asked. When he suggested meeting, I was shaking too. I thought, that is going to be some short flirting, nothing else. I knew that I'm in a relationship and that messaging him is very wrong, but I couldn't help myself. He was walking dream. Don't get me wrong here. Remember when I told you how I thought he was just a regular guy when I first checked his profile? Honestly, he was to me. But when I checked later, he suddenly turned into my prince, and I couldn't explain why. Something happened at that time. I just thought that my boredom came from my relationship that wasn't fulfilling me anymore. Now I know. Kay looked so honest, nice, and decent. It is funny how careful he was in the beginning, and how later he turned into the little devil with his messages. I liked them. He was the first thing I thought about in the morning, and the last thing was going to bed. That was a very hot summer, and I enjoyed texting the guy I thought I knew somehow, even though he was a brand new in my life. I told him that we need to wait until we meet each other, because I was afraid of how I'm going to end my relationship when I'm from the perspective of my boyfriend. Everything was fine. That was the most important role in my life. I mentioned that I am an actress, amateur actress. I was smiling, going out, drinking, smoking. I went a little bit crazy and posted about everything. At some moments I felt like a devil entered into my body. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, work. I was out of my mind. I remember the moment when I was having sex with my boyfriend, and then suddenly Kay popped up into my head from nowhere, and I cried. My boyfriend didn't notice. It was around my birthday when Kay started acting weird. He asked me to tell me when I'm going to meet him. I said, wait until tomorrow. I'm drunk now. That tomorrow never came. He didn't ask about me meeting him again and stop writing regularly. He was just replying with a few words on my messages, and after a while, I stopped writing too. I'm not a pushy girl. I would never chase a guy. That is not my style. I hope that is something temporary and he will write again. I lived for that moment. The way I was feeling at the time was beyond anything I have experienced before. I remember I was lying down on the couch, staring at my boyfriend's back. He was playing computer games, of course, and crying. I remember having something on my chest, something like a big stone, and I couldn't breathe. I was being evil, depressed, and needy. I was so unhappy that my boyfriend finally noticed and asked me what's wrong with me. I didn't tell him, but he knew that something is going on. All the time I was saying things like, I will leave you, we will break up, the end of us is close, and he was so confused and sad. I didn't know what to do. I felt bad for him, and I didn't know how to end it up. From the other side, I was walking through my personal hell, and I didn't know what I had done that made Kay stop writing. I can really relate here with this, because when I was going through the hell, I was really unable to communicate. I did not know what happened to me. I didn't understand how it happened to me, and it all felt so strange, so strong. And obviously my marriage on that time was really in a hard place because I was unable to at the time I was saying things like, I will leave you, we will break up, the end of us is close, and he was confused and sad. I didn't know what to do. I felt bad for him and didn't know how to end it up. From the other side, I was walking through my personal hell and didn't know what I had done to make Kay stop writing. I think that the period we didn't speak at all was longer than 2 months. I was dead inside, walking and talking like a robot. Everybody saw that something is happening with me, except for my boyfriend. He probably thought that is a regular me and that I always have something to cry about. He thinks I'm a very needy girl, even though we went out together only 3 times for 8 years of our relationship. Needy indeed. I'm gonna say that this is again very true over here, that we feel people who haven't gone through spiritual awakening don't understand what it does to us. And so it's so easy to say that, oh, you're feeling this way, you're feeling that way. Once you go through this, you understand that it really takes a hell inside of you. Anyway, I reached out a few times and the answer always been polite and short. I knew I have lost him. I thought, all right, it is what it is. I will survive somehow. I didn't know what else to do. The time went by and it was a springtime, and I went to my mother's house because we had some kind of a family celebrations. We made plenty of photos which I posted, but Kay didn't check my story. This is a good, I think we all of us are guilty here. Hit the like button if you are the guilty one over here, with the fact that we all of us has been on the social media trying to see what they do, how it happens, what is happening in their life. I tell you, when I was going through the hell, I was posting every day like I'm having the most happiest life in my every day. I was far away from happy. His absence was obvious, and a few days later when I checked, he was not following me anymore. I was really hurt, but I didn't know how to write for him. I decided to unfollow him and continue living on my life. The summer went by and I was trying very hard not to think about him, but I was failing all the time. But I was doing great, acting, pretending, smiling. Nobody ever heard that story from me. I was all alone in that chaos, and I knew I need to handle it on my own way. Nobody would understand it. Anyway, falling in love with a complete strangers and feelings that he felt something do too, but it decided to run away. In August 17, 2022, my beloved pet, rabbit Cookie, was so sick and I knew he's going to die. He was like a child to me and meant the world for me. On that day, I saw his friend request and I just ignored the fact that he reached out again, even though the butterflies from my stomach started flying out through my mouth. I'm gonna stop here again, I'm going to say something. I know that many of you have been blocking their twin flame and then unblocking and all of that. And then they think it's okay when you block me. Let's say if you would block me out of the blue when I have such a feelings for you and then you come back to me, I would feel really betrayed, to be honest. If it's a true twin flame and you had a very strong connection, this blocking and unblocking is just a waste of time, in that sense that, yes, I did remove the number, I did remove for me that I will not see it, and I removed all the messages, which today I little bit regret. I regret, because there were so many beautiful messages, there were so many information that I wish I could share with you today, but I cannot. Well, maybe there's a reason for that, but I would say this blocking and unblocking is like, I saw a meme another day where it was like, the true love is block, unblock, block, unblock, block, unblock, which made me laugh a lot because I was like, yeah, that's what it is. But I just want to say it's not working, because you can see, I just ignored the fact that he reached out again, even though the butterflies from my stomach and started flying through my mouth. I was so sad and waited for a miracle to happen, so my baby could be happy and healthy again. On August 18, my boyfriend's birthday, Cookie passed away and I was on my knees from pain. I was sitting on the floor, not having given the strength to give the comfort to my boyfriend, who was suffering too. The next day, or maybe that day, I don't know, I accepted his request. He liked some old pics, but didn't write. I didn't write as well. My ego was stronger, even though I used to overcome it on a daily basis. Her story is very similar to mine. It was like this ego is coming in. I'm gonna say something. No, I'm not gonna say. No, is it too much? No, I'm gonna let him wait until I'm going to answer. And now when I look back of this, I'm like, why? Why I couldn't speak my own truth? But there is a process. That's why I'm not here to judge anybody. There is a process, and we're all going to go through that process. But it's part of it. It continued going nothing between us. And I never asked him why he ran away, even though I really wanted. November 11/11/22, I booked a call with one astrologist in order to find out what is the role of this man in my life. I knew that something happened and that my life will forever change. I just didn't know why. I even used to think that his purpose was to show me how incomplete and fragile my relationship is when some random boy from Instagram is able to destroy it in a minute. I was not far from the truth, but the channeling call I had turned out to be something different, my life purpose. The woman told me that I'm going to be an astrologist and that my life purpose is big and very important, but that I have a problem with that throat chakra, and I was shocked. I expected that we will talk about him and why he's not writing anymore, and instead I found out that I'm an old soul that came to this planet to heal others and help them become a higher selves. I was just shaking and crying, and later I was grateful. Her story is really, really similar to me, really similar, and I know what she's feeling. When you get to know, that's why the power of channeling, and that's why I'm like offering this, because when you get to know the truth, when you get to know who you are from your soul, wow, that's gonna change. That's gonna change everything. I know that so many of you have done the channeling call with me. You're like so in peace after that, because you know that, okay, this is who I am. I was thinking how I could be possibly meant to be an astrologist. I don't know how to do that, even though I was interested in spiritual work, and I always have been aware that we live in a world of miracles. And yes, I knew about it a little bit, but to do that? No. People would consider me fraud. She's a copy of me. I had exact same feelings, same things. I said, I will never do anything with this twin flame. Yes, I can channel. Yes, I know the things, but I keep it to myself because for me it was the same thing. I knew all of that, but I didn't want to really do all of this twin flames and help others. I was really like, well, it's great. I know how it works. I know what it is, but let me now just be with this. Well, the universe had a different plans, and even though I tried to escape from it, I was I kept on finding excuses. The destiny or the universe made me to do that, and today I want to say a huge thank you for this because it has helped me to find the people who align with me, who align with my soul. And the most important is when I receive emails of how I have changed them, how I have given them the strength and the support and changed their life. I remember saying, if I would change 10 people's life with the message I have or things I can help with, then I have done enough. And today I am so grateful for all of you. So yeah, we can try to think about it to escape, but when it's our soul purpose, it's our soul's purpose. So I continue. One day I just sat down, opened my birth chart, and I knew it. And I just knew it all. I could read symbols, aspects, and I just understood how it worked. Of course, I knew that I will have to learn a lot about that, but I was astonished how good suddenly I was. When just a few months ago, that was like a quantum physics to me. I started studying and I also made my professional account on Instagram. In the beginning, I was shy about it and I didn't want to share it with my close people. I was thinking they will reject me because of that. For God's sake, I'm a journalist with a master's degree, a writer, a copywriter, an actress, dancer. I just simply cannot be astrologist. That would be weird. But do you know what? No one rejected me. No one. When I told them, everybody were like, all right, we knew you're the weird one. And even my boyfriend supported me. And I am so thankful. Meanwhile, Kay moved to a different country and found his happiness there. I wished him all the best many times. I knew he's going to be happy there. He's so adventurous, capable, and on top of the top, he is a good guy. Last few months, I noticed that he started sharing online some things that he knows I'm interested in. It seems like he wants my attention. He doesn't know that he has it from the beginning. But now, I really need to figure out things out with my boyfriend. And I don't want to be dishonest with Kay. Because you probably figured out that I never told him I have someone. Because I was so afraid to lose him. Silly me. I cannot lose him. He is mine and I am his. Forever. And how this awareness happened? Huh? I was getting many signs during all this time. But I was not always listening and following. I was dealing with many things in life because now I unlocked so many talents of mine and many topics. I started working as an astrologist and tarot reader. I wrote another book and started dancing again. I'm trying to find the focus, and he's trying to find his focus too. Anyway, many signs were just ignored by me because I was just so overwhelmed. 36 years old, and now just discovering everything I can, all my powers. It's not easy. I promise. Yeah, here I want to say that I always used to say that my gift is like my curse. In that sense, I used to say it's a gift and it's a curse. Because sometimes I know also things that are not so positive or not so cheerful. And I know them without having any information in prior. And so my husband always used to tell me that people are afraid to talk to you because you can see through them. And when they try to lie to you, you already know that it's not true. So they're not coming to talk to you. And I said, I know. And it's okay. Although back then I was trying to suppress this a lot. Today, I'm doing more and more and more work every day to get in touch with my intuition as strong as possible. And because that helps everyone to find their soul's purpose, who you are from your soul. And when you know who you are from your soul, everything will just flow and this awareness will come. I'll continue. Even though I know about the term twin flames about a year, I was hesitating to think that Kay is my twin flame. I thought, oh my God, I know that I'm important to you, but not that important, so you could give me this. This connection is chosen for chosen ones, and I don't feel that I am the chosen one. I know that Kay had a mission in life, but twin flame journey couldn't be that one. Around full moon in Gemini, November 27, 2023, I was listening to your podcast, and I was thinking about all the signs and proofs I got from the universe this far. And I was finally brave to admit, yes, God, I guess I finally see that I am on this twin flame journey. Here is another sign. The moment I started writing the sentence 11/11, 1st of January 2024. Oh my God. I never heard about the term before. First time I heard about it, it was a year ago. Maybe a year and a half. Not earlier. Yes, my dear, beautiful soul. Now I know. Kay is my twin flame. And everything finally makes sense. My pain, challenges, this amount of love I feel for someone I never met before. The pain that love caused me, that I thought I would die or my chest is going to burst into millions of pieces. The gratitude I finally felt when I realized it is for higher good. It is not just your love story, even though I'm dying to meet him and hug him, feel his presence and his love. By the way, one of the first messages he wrote me was the recommendation of one book, 4 Agreements. Just tell me, how crazy is that? He told me the book really helped him. I told me I would see the book, but never read it until now. Yes, I recently remembered that he recommended me more than 2 years ago, and I bought it and I read it in one day. I just simply cannot believe that he was more spiritual than I at that time. He didn't send me any signals of that. Or I guess my ego couldn't see it. Anyways, 15 days ago I told him thank you for that recommendation, and he was beyond happy that I remembered and was very surprised. He told me how we share the same dreams even though we are in different places and bodies. I told him that maybe we are different countries and bodies, but that we share the same soul, and he was very happy to hear that. I love him so much that I feel this amount of love will be my drive forever. That is because I love myself so much now. Even though I know I am not perfect. But thanks to my twin flame, I know we are connected forever, and I am happy for that. I know that there are many challenges in front of me, relationship, my career, and the world is going crazy and we all are participating in it. Kay helped me to see how worthy I am, and I hope I also helped him. I know that we will meet eventually. I'm not sure he believes in that, even though he shows emotions. I can see everything. I have a moon in Scorpio. I really think that he thinks I'm playing him. I trust the universe there. It's the reason beyond all of this, and I will make all the steps I need to make. I know that union depends mostly on me. I'm the one who needs to do some brave moves in the future. We'll see. But I trust. I'm happy that I live in this very moment on this planet, and that I can share the oxygen with him, and also with you. I love you, and please stop crying whenever you read our letters, because I cry too. Yeah, I try my best. Yeah, right now I also have a bit of a tears already. Yeah, I know, I think it might be a little annoying to hear me crying all the time, but you mean so much to me. When I hear the stories, they go into my heart, they go into my soul, and I just feel how beautiful you are. And yeah, I'm trying not to, but I already have tears in my eyes, because what you're just describing is exactly what's going to happen on this journey. Once you become to the awareness, once you become to this fullness, the life is gonna be so beautiful, so worth it. It's priceless. Don't hold yourself back from becoming your higher self. P.S. Kay and I have a very similar interest and music taste. We both love animals, nature, being active, traveling, or reading. From the other side, we are very different. And it comes from the fact that he is a divine masculine and I am the divine feminine energy. Lots of love and light. And then I have other information for me. First of all, thank you for sharing your story. How funny is that I started this podcast today with an intention of understanding how this journey helps you to come yourself, how this journey will bring the light to your soul, how this journey is going to show you who you are from your soul level and what you're supposed to do. It doesn't mean that all of us are going to do spiritual work, like it's the same like astrology or like twin flame, what I'm doing, or channeling or all of these kind of things. It doesn't mean that. What it means is, let's say you are a nurse. You're going to see things through a bigger lens now. You can give healing, you can give things through the spiritual aspect. Or you are a teacher and you can change and help others. Or you're working in a shop, for example, and you can still bring so much awareness and guidance, and so just that's what your twin flame is coming to your life to show you who you are. So thank you so much for sharing your story with me today. And those of you who would like to share the story with me, twinflameawakeningjourney@gmail.com, and share your story and I will read it on a podcast. And also those of you who need that they feel they need help and to share and figure out if they are on this journey, book a consultation call with me if you wish, or book with someone else to get some peace. Because when you're sitting there alone and thinking and feeling and not understanding what is happening, it is very painful. I did it all. I did that all, and I don't recommend that. That's why I've given that opportunity, that I tried to keep it as affordable as possible. The only reason why I charge for what I do is because if it takes away the time from my kids, then I need to, in a sense, of charge for that. Otherwise, I honestly would do it for free. I just want to help as much as I can help. And And if I can help, and I try to, like I said, for example, those of you who are in a financial difficulties, and I can totally understand. We have on twice a month on Sundays, and this upcoming Sunday, 21st of January, we will have our group session again, and you can join that. You don't have to pay for this. It's a free to join. Of course, if you can support this channel on Patreon, $5.99 a month, I can put out more content. I can devote more of my time collectively for all of you. So this little support helps me tremendously. And this Sunday we're going to have a group session. It happens at 12 o'clock New York time, 6 o'clock Paris time. And this time we're going to talk about signs. So if you are on my email list, you will receive a link, and on Patreon you will receive an invitation. So we'll see each other on this Sunday. The next thing I wanted to say is that our retreat is now coming up. I still have 2 available places, and I can do extra 2 because I booked an amazing villa for all of us. It's you will see if you are interested. Please send me an email. Please make sure that your email is correct. I had many people who asked for it, but their emails are not correct and unable to reply them back. Please, if you hear that, get in touch with me and make sure that your email is correct, that I can reply back to it. We have 2 places, and I can add extra 2 places in case we have more people than planned. But book your time quickly. Until end of this month is the early bird price, and you can pay in installments. The retreat is happening in Cyprus on 7th of March until the 10th of March. It will be 3 nights and 4 days. You will have your private Reiki session happening. We will have an intense breath work and sound healing session that will change your life. We will have yin yoga in the mornings. We will connect with our soul and with the earth. Cyprus has an amazing love energy, and there are many other surprises which I don't want to really say because I want you to come into the unknown and discover who you are from your soul. Because when we have an expectation, our mind doesn't allow us to enjoy. So there are definitely surprises that you have no idea about it, and I'm keeping it for ourselves. If you wish to join, please let me know as soon as possible, that I make sure that you have a place. It will be so it will happen this March. So and I hope to see you here, every one of you who has a possibility. I know many of you are listening me from Australia, United States, South of America. You cannot join. I totally get it, and I promise I will try to make my time this year to United States, and then I will do an evening or little retreat. We'll see what we can do. Anyways, thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for coming here. If you like this episode, share your moments with me. Every little like, every little comment, every little email means a lot to me. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you soon over here. Lots of love and lots of light. You are the most beautiful and most amazing soul. Thank you.